All right, so we're on our way to Camp Crossroads right now. It's in Quakertown, right here in Bucks County, and it's free of charge. And the only requirement is that these youth between the ages of 9 and 12 have some form of substance use disorder in their family. And these kids, they can come to this camp and build skills and build connection and build peer support and learn about the disease of addiction and substance use. And it's just an amazing program that we need more of this kind of stuff, and it's absolutely free. It's fully staffed by counselors of St. Luke's Penn Foundation. Great resource, great prevention resource here in Bucks County to engage our youth around the preventative factors and help and support these youth with being the future and making healthy decisions and learning about this disease and supporting one another. All right, looks like we're here.
My name is Megan Yoder, and I'm Program Supervisor for Impact Camps at St. Luke's Penn Foundation. Okay. So the mission of Camp Crossroads is to introduce youth who have been impacted by substance use disorder to a community where they can gain mentors, they can gain peer support, they can get an educational type of camp experience and also a traditional camp experience with fishing and rock climbing and volleyball, and exposing them to those different things where they can just have a community and a safe space to process the different things that they've experienced in life thus far due to substance use. So our curriculum is based off of the 7 C's of addiction. I can't control it, I can't cure it, and I didn't cause it, but I can take care of myself by making good choices, communicating my feelings, and ultimately celebrating myself. This weekend, we're working on caring for ourselves, what that looks like in the midst of having to sometimes raise ourselves a little bit, but also struggling with that dynamic of somebody should be caring for me at this time. And so how do we kind of figure that out? So let's work through personal hygiene, and let's work through having firm boundaries and different ideas like that, where we hopefully give them the tools they can add to their tool belt. So when they go beyond this place, they have different coping skills and different lessons that they get to take with them into the real world.
We're looking to help kids to regulate their emotions. And movement is one of those ways. Tai Chi Qigong is just one way, but movement, slow, gentle Tai Chi Qigong movements are a way to calm the body, focus attention, and have some fun.
I think a lot of them enjoy the classic games, the meeting new friends and things like that. But there's a lot of times that I think that they get to enjoy having those tougher conversations. A lot of them kind of come out of their shells, whether it be in group sessions like we're kind of having today, or one-on-one individually with one of the counselors. They seem to have a bit of relief that kind of comes out of it. Yeah, sure, it's fun to play dodgeball and run around and things like that, but it's also an enjoyment to them to be able to get some of those burdens off of their chests.
They're getting better at expressing themselves in healthy ways. They're getting better at interrupting their sort of negative processes that they go through, and ultimately they're making some good long-lasting friendships that will hopefully serve them, and I've seen that so far, so I'm very optimistic. We have another camper who wouldn't speak the first camp, and then we just had, we're just talking in group there, and she's volunteering different self-care things that she's doing, which is huge for her because she hasn't done that in the past.
It is like a good thing to care about yourself, because when you care for yourself, I think it makes you feel like more responsible. And if somebody sees you caring for yourself, it could inspire somebody to start caring better for themselves.
The counselors are amazing, and they just help you get through everything. They don't judge you for anything, because most of them have been through something you've been through, or help other people.
I've gotten to see firsthand some of how COVID in particular has really begun to highlight this mental health crisis that's it's been around for a long time, but it has really reached its peak and it's not going anywhere. So I think that programs like this are really critical to go upstream of some of the difficulties that we experience in the community to help these kids grow up in a way that they learn how to do some of that really tough self-care, that they learn how to take care of themselves and communicate and celebrate themselves that they grow up with some of these alternate belief systems, because it's very easy as a kid to internalize things like, I'm not good enough because my parents would rather do drugs than take care of me. So any kind of funding that can be placed upstream is super important. That funding also needs to be placed in where the problem is happening in the community. We can take a look at what's happening acutely in our communities, what's happening chronically in our communities, and make some infrastructure changes to help those things, but then also look upstream for these kids where the funding's being cut for schools, for arts and culture and counseling, and bring that back in. That's how we're going to create a stronger society, and that's what's going to make this country really thrive.
Our ultimate goal is that when these kids get to graduate out of our program, that they are ready to say no. We're learning these coping skills, we're having this education, but all of this, like I mentioned earlier, is that toolbox. And so we're adding tools to be able to break the cycle of addiction within our families, because we know that addiction is generational sometimes. And so giving these kids an opportunity to process it is huge. We specifically work with ages 9 through 12 because around 8th grade, they start making definitive decisions. So we really want them to work through everything that they've experienced prior to making those definitive decisions. And hopefully when they get there, that definitive decision can be no. Without a doubt, I think this is a program that can be used in any county around. It's so powerful that, yeah, we may not be impacting more than 20 campers per year, but all of this is worth it if it impacts one camper.